How often have you moved? Are you the sentimental type, or do you leave everything behind and start over new? I personally have moved around a lot in my life, but no matter what, I always bring my cat, my favorite mugs, my collection of books and games, sometimes less, sometimes more, but always the core things that matter most to me. Stories live in the things that we keep, in the spaces we create, in the people that we meet, and the impacts that they create. And Unpacking is a beautiful story told entirely through those things. Let's have a look at Unpacking and how it uses only its environments to tell the story. Environmental storytelling is one of my favorite ways to experience a narrative. Walking into a room, looking at all of the pictures and trinkets and photos and books, piecing together a life from what's left behind. In Unpacking, we are never told who our character is. There's no voice, no face, no name. The only thing we have for any indication to who they are the objects that they choose to keep. And through that, we start to understand our character's story. How exactly does Unpacking do this? Let's have a look at the very first scene. The first room, we see a lot. A Tamagotchi, a Game Boy, a dreidel, lots of art supplies, a souvenir from England, Trolls dolls, action figures, books, and so much more. Through this, we learn that this child that we're unpacking for is likely creative, well-traveled, and Jewish, and that is just the very first glimpse. Our next scene, I think, is a dorm. I never went to college, and this doesn't look like the dorms that my friends stayed in, but let me know in the comments if your dorm happened to look like this. And if you're like me and you didn't go to college, hit the like button. We can bond over that. This space feels small and personal. And this is where we start to get a bit more information on the identity of who we are playing as. As we unpack, we can see feminine hygiene products and undergarments. We can infer that our protagonist has female anatomy and likely identifies as a woman. We also see that her artistic passion is growing. The art supplies that she has have gained some quality, and there are definitely books throughout, focusing on some of the harder things to draw, like hands. We see that we still have an interest in gaming. The Game Boy is still there. Our favorite stuffed pig is still there as well, and we still have posters that we decorate the walls with. Our next stage, we see that she's moving in with roommates, presumably. Based on the layout of the home and the items, we can infer that there are at least 2 other people that she's living with. One who is interested in cosplaying, the other who seems to be a bit more interested in bugs, and they seem to share a connection in playing Dungeons and Dragons. I really love this stage because it's colorful, creatively chaotic, and full of shared interests. This feels like a place that gets our character. It supports who she is growing into, which is sharply contrasted with the next stage where we presumably see our character moving in with a boyfriend based on clothing, and it feels like this is a big mismatch from the get-go. There's no space that's been intentionally carved out for her to put her things. As a matter of fact, you have to move things to make room. The apartment is minimalist and monochromatic, which feels contrasted with her bright colors. While stylish, it feels cold and unwelcoming, and her stuff seems to have little importance to this partner. After a breakup, we see that she is moving back home. She returns to her childhood room, and I've been there. It is so hard to shrink your adult life back into a space that you have outgrown. At the end of the stage, the scrapbook page really has a potent feeling to it if you end the level in the bedroom where she says, "This room used to feel bigger." Our last few stages are so much fun to look through. We notice new things in these stages. After having spent time back at home, we see that there's an increase in painkillers in the medicine cabinet. There is a cane that makes its appearance into the umbrella holder, and so we can infer that something has changed. There is likely some kind of chronic pain or issue within the legs that our character is dealing with. But we also start to see a sense of hope and stability following this, where we see a partner moving in with our character. When this new partner moves in, we infer that this partner is a woman as well, based on the inclusion of new feminine hygiene products and some very beautiful dresses that you hang up in the closet. We can also infer that this person may be of Asian descent based on things that hold cultural significance. This level is one that you unpacked before, and when you start it, things have been moved from where you originally placed them to make space for this new partner to move in. Both partners fit here. They're making space for each other. And the final level is full of hope and success. They're moving into a bigger home. There's indications of big success in career, primarily that we have a published children's book. Travel definitely maintains being a prominent theme for our characters as the souvenir collection has grown through each stage. And if you're paying attention to some of the items before you get to the room that gives it all away, there's definitely signs of parenthood on the horizon. It really feels like a full circle moment. Unpacking does a beautiful job of telling a snippet of a life's story through purely environmental storytelling. And while environmental storytelling exists in every medium, as far as I've ever seen, games are the only medium in which the entirety of the story can be told through the environment. In Unpacking, you notice things based off of your lived experience. A red double-decker bus indicating a trip to England, the inclusion of things like Tums, a dreidel or menorah, a crockpot, each item holding meaning, especially if you know what you're looking at. What is an object in Unpacking that you noticed that gave you more context to her story? I keep coming back to Unpacking because it reminds me of how much we learn about people just by being in their space. The things that we love, the people that we've lived with and met, the memories that are held within mugs and books and trinkets. Video games can tell these stories in a way that's hard for other mediums. Through environmental storytelling, Unpacking is a soft-paced puzzle game with an incredible story because it's told entirely through the items you pull out of a box. If you enjoyed having a deep dive look into the unique way that Unpacking tells its story, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.